Hi, welcome to another episode of Caps and Cards. I'm your host, Spidey, and I'm joined today by.
Your lovely co-host TJ North Shore Fitzia. We're going to finally be doing our reverse retro 2.0 review. As you can see, John already picked up his for the Sabres, which is really nice. I like that they did it something a little bit different, and they brought back the ultimate '90s hockey logo and the goat head.
Well, you know, I got down there as soon as I could, and as soon as I could, still got me Dylan Cousins instead of Tuck Thompson or
It's a
Lucan.
nice timely manner because they just restocked all these too on all the sites. So there's if you were looking for one, there might possibly be on like Dick's Sporting Goods, Sports SK, and a few other sites.
Well, SK was coming on the 28th. I think it's already the 28th now, so we're gonna
Yeah,
be,
they came out.
yeah, that should be coming up.
You still might be able to get one because they ordered a lot more stock on all the ones that were sold out for months. There's
And
quite a
I
few that you're going to see later on in the slides that aren't that obviously won't sell out.
well, we didn't rank them. We're just gonna talk about them. We're not like the other channels out there where we're gonna try and match our hat to our jersey. If you follow the Sabres, you'll know that Okposo wears this cap. This is the Buffalo Bisons. This is an on-field hat. They wear this for hockey night. And then, you've seen us wearing the Bandits lacrosse night hat and there's a couple of these and they have like the sock lines similar to the sleeve line. So hopefully they do something like this year.
That corduroy Bisons would be really nice with that black alternate for the Sabres.
Oh, you mean this bad boy?
Yeah, that with the black goat head and a hat trick. Now you're talking my language.
Of course, I had him right here because well no, I've got the other one right here too. This is the one that I think
That one's good too. It's like the Sabres, like the alternate colorway there. And
this
then
is
we
the one you'll
have,
see Deion Dawkins wearing around town with that
yeah,
jersey.
and then we also have the goat heads we picked up from the team store before the reverse retros came out.
Oh yeah, we're all over that.
We were all over that we shown them before. But we'll get started.
You see me holding the rack like this, walking up to the counter.
Yeah, we'll be showing this. We'll start ripping on these now.
Actually, I do have mine right here. I lied. All right, let her rip. So we got the Ottawa Senators. This is a throwback to the 2007. This was the October Storm jersey, as we called it. The Chara, the Soupy Campbell hit the Ray Emery fighting Rob Ray and not Millsy, because there was no way Millsy would have been fighting Ray Emery, former pro boxer. What do you think?
I do like Ottawa's logos. They're pretty cool. I like the incorporation of the gold in it. I do love that these all have the retro shields too,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a cool point because they look a lot better per se than those like the little plastic shield they put on the modern day NHL jerseys.
Yeah, you'll notice that these are like felt, and the only teams that should have had the LNH are the Canadian teams, and a couple of those slipped through because they're all just in a factory
Well,
and
yeah, producing overseas, the quality control is not the same. Any collector of anything can think of that, whether it be New Era hats, jerseys,
Indonesia, right?
anything really.
I
I mean,
no, I think these are all made in Indonesia, but the game jerseys are Canada.
yeah,
But a little history about this, other than the playoffs that year. Again, it's got the nice Adidas shoulders. Like you can see the difference on my shoulders right now. It is slimmer to the body, so everybody sized up on this one. That was a big factor for a lot of people. And then you can see it where the seams come together too, where people, especially on
yeah.
the new jerseys, you're gonna see where the seams come together real nice.
Versus, I'm wearing the original Pooh Bear from like the '90s, and you can see how the sleeves are a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a lot less tapered. Like it's actually meant to be worn under a hockey.
Well,
Like it's
the pads are a lot smaller now too.
Yeah, just like football, it's a lot different. Like the forms of jersey is pretty interesting to see, but it's really cool to see these different NHL designs. A lot of them are pretty cool. It's refreshing to see every team get a new jersey this every year.
Well, and actually, this was the Alfie jersey. He was like the first one to try to bring the mullet back. You know, that was this he had the long hair, and that's when we all started growing our hair out with the flow. So next up here we got the Leafs.
Toronto, I'd say safe, but not great. It just kind of looks like any of their regular home jerseys, a little bit modified. It's varied after the '70s jerseys they wore a little bit, except they use the white instead of the gray.
So here's how I feel about it. The crest is obviously like a normal crest, and I'm not going to keep tapping my crest just to show that it's a crest, but it should have been that felt from like the Winter Classic last year's Minnesota jersey. That would have looked unbelievable on this jersey. That would
A,
have been a game changer.
a cool fact about the Maple Leaf: it's based on World War I. The Canadians were renowned for their military service. So when after World War I, the Toronto team wanted to use their logo, which is what the Canadians wore, was the maple leaf like that. So that's what the maple leaf logo came about, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
Cane symbol, kind of like their home jersey, except you got the C there with the flags.
So in the C, you got the warning flag. On the shoulders here, you can't really see. You got more of the warning flags. And I mean, it's just too safe.
It's just as bad as their stadium series they just dropped recently with it was just black.
Whereas these warning flags, these red parts here are on the pants, which it gives it a nice look. It's sleek, it's red and black, but they need to go outside the box.
I would have loved to have seen some Whalers inspired thing because they transferred all the history from Hartford when they moved there. Would have been
But
really.
again, they're in the Rangers market. I think we've talked about this where they cannot play as the Whalers unless it's going to be against the Rangers or the Bruins, and it has to be one of those approved matchups. And that's the thing, though. When look inside the collar, 2019, like what can you do with a 2019? Like all the way back to 2000, the only thing they've ever changed on these jerseys are the bottom stripes and the side striping.
They've won one Stanley Cup at least.
You
Yeah,
know who they
Sabres or no?
beat us in the Eastern Conference Final to, and our GM won the Stanley Cup with the Canes. All right, next here we got the Gretzky.
Yeah, another Lady Liberty, another safe choice brought back logo here that a lot of collectors are after. I can see a lot of these ending up being customized into Gretzky or Jaromir Jagr eventually by people.
This was the Gretzky, the Messier. Oh man, there were just so many great players on the late '90s, early 2000s teams. Then they won the cup. Richter, um, wow, they're just
Like I
like
said, original six team, storied history.
I
It's pretty
remember
cool.
watching those games and
It's pretty.
just Brian Leach. He was like one of those defensemen that started to like even like Scott Stevens that were bringing that new fast speed style into the game.
I think he eventually came to the Bruins in 2011. Leach or not Leach, Brian Leach. I
I
think
cannot confirm that.
toward the end of his career. I think it's hard to remember that team, but it's pretty incredible. But there's lots of great players. Yeah, they brought the Pooh Bear back for the Bruins here. This is like an infamous logo because it was hated when it came out and didn't sell well. These were really hard to get, and these jerseys have shown that because now collectors have been overnight these sold out. And I know the Garden had so many pre-orders that they've canceled a lot of the orders on them.
Well, you can actually see halfway down above where the just where the fur is. That's one of the inseams, and then they have another inseam above the lower fur, and then there is one solid seam up the arm and then the shoulder. So there's
What I
actually a lot
what
more to it.
What I have liked with these jerseys is they've been pairing them with those tan Winter Classic pads this year for the
Mm.
goaltender and everything like that. It gives like that nice like the black and the leather and that like leather color is really cool with the goaltenders.
And you mind show your shoulder patch and then okay, so the Bruins, it's a little cleaner on this one, being white instead of the yellow. And then what they call this stitching pattern, I that looks like the Royal. I have a hat that has that it's like it's like super pristine, it's like crunched up, but it's like popping. It's like a Rays logo. It's pretty damn cool.
Well, no, it's cool. Interesting about this, even like the logos themselves, it's the stitching that gives the image of being like a 3D crest. It's not a 3D crest, just like this one isn't, which is kind of cool because it's like an optical illusion almost.
Yes. All right. And now we have Johnny Canuck, 19, was that say 62?
62. They came about like when you guys came about the Sabres.
They came in the league the same year the Sabres did, 1970. Johnny Canuck was he was just the normal guy. He was supposed to be just he was anybody who played hockey, really. There was nothing to it. It was just, you want to be a Canuck and you want to, go play the game outdoors, and that's the way they were founded.
I love the colors on it. I like their retro colors that the Canucks have with their green and
I mean,
their
and
green and blue.
you can't mistake that logo. It's a rink with a hockey stick in it. You'll never be able to forget that. Once you see that, it's so hard to forget. But it still looks like a C.
Yeah, it's just like on the FedEx has an arrow in it. Once you know about it, or in the hat community, they were talking about how you turn the Bulls logo upside down and it looks like a robot.
Robot DJ. Yeah. This one, I mean, it's classic. They never really wore this.
It's just going to be something that's probably going to hit the clearance rack because the Canucks aren't best franchise, and they're considering trade away all their like currently good players.
And as soon as they started winning with Bruce Boudreau, they fired him because they wanted Connor Bedard. So, I mean, not much to say about this. It's classic
Well,
logo.
the local guy from there, it'd be really. If he goes anywhere, he's probably going to go to a Canadian club. I hope.
I mean, they've had their shots. Edmonton had how many number ones in a row?
Yeah. Vegas. This one's really cool. I love that gold metallic gold pop. And the cool thing about this is it's actually glows in the dark. The Vegas glows in the dark. So when they wear these, they come out into the tunnel in pitch black. They have black lights in the stadium, so the whole jersey lights up like a neon sign with the
Yeah.
Vegas. The colors, it's pretty cool. It's unique to Vegas. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they do next year with Vegas with their the Winter Classic jerseys.
Well, the thing about this jersey, though, is that if you've watched any of their playoff games, like in their first season, especially, like, and I know it says 95 in there was no team in Vegas in 95 that was playing professionally like that. And for them to have that neon sign, because that's like the Vegas Strip, and the stadium is not really on the strip, it's kind of out of the way. And I mean, just when they do that whole drum off, like the drum line, they're all wearing these like neon glasses and light up goggles and stuff. And it just kind of really brings it all together. And then when they come out of the Knights helmet, just perfect.
It's just such a cool thing to bring non-hockey people into the fold of hockey with it because they're showing off like there's a lot of people in that Vegas market that have been captivated by them. And I think they actually have a real fan base now versus like most expansion teams come into a market where there's fans of other teams. There wasn't really a lot of hockey fans in Vegas. It was an interesting market for the NHL to break into.
Well, they've been blessed with Jackie Ikes. So
And Cassidy, good riddance. I'm happy he's not in Boston. Causing some drama.
yeah, like I like when you get a new team and it says 1995 and you're like, who are you trying to be? Like other than the Rangers, you know?
Well, every team has that like cross, like that. Like
Yeah.
they have a big font at some point. It's pretty iconic.
Okay, and then like okay, so we're moving on to the Kraken. And the closest thing you had to the Kraken was a minor league hockey team called the Metropolitans. And you couldn't go with the Sonics or because they're potentially coming back, and I don't
It's
know.
really interesting too because they put them. They're right over the border of Vancouver, so it's interesting with their recent success that a lot of Canucks fans be riding on the Kraken just because they're right around the corner.
That I mean, it separated a lot of people when the Wild came into the league from the Blackhawks. Kind of gave them that extra push. This is pretty cool though, because in the middle of the S is that big old Kraken tentacle. I would have liked to see this pattern more on the sleeves. Uh,
I would have liked to have seen them do a different logo, maybe like a big, like the alternate logo with anchor on the front or something pretty interesting, or anchor with a Kraken tentacle wrapping around it or something just like completely different would be kind of cool.
I want to see more of those like Stadium Series, like giant logos on these, especially for these new clubs that need some inspiration. Why not just
Because they're
this
brand new,
thing?
really do anything they want, which would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, and we'll talk about it later, the Washington jersey, it looks like a Russian national, uh, as you said, but I was like, it's the Eagle, man. It's USA all day.
Yeah, the wild inspired jersey. It's like a throwback to the North Stars.
Yeah, so Minnesota here, this is a throwback to the North Stars when Parise warmed up last year. He was on the Wild before he got traded to the Islanders. He wore his father's Jofa gloves. They're those like really long ones that almost come up to the first cuff on your jersey. And that was a pretty cool moment. I thought he was going to wear them for the game, but those probably would have like melted apart just the way the game is played today. You hit somebody like that. That old leather is good, but it wouldn't last.
Interesting factoid about the Bruins. Marchand wears the same gloves since he was been in like AHL hockey, and during the Winter Classic, you could tell he just spray painted them black.
I,
Because he
that's he's probably got two or three pairs because when you come off the ice, there's a little drying rack and you could stick your glove, you hand your gloves to the trainer, the off ice guy, and he sticks them on this dryer, and your numbers are on the inside of the thumbs, so you can see whose gloves they are. And we got that treatment when we played downtown one time, for the state title, and it was just amazing to have sitting in the Sabres locker room, and then you hop off the ice, you could throw your pads on the air dryer. It was like 400 degrees, it felt like, and then you come back out and you slip your gloves back on, they'd be dry.
like I said, I do like this. I like their Winter Class. I like Minnesota's the Wild's Winter Classic jersey from last year, just because it was different. This was
Yeah.
kind of like a bet. They did this, something similar to this last year too, where they alluded to the North Stars, even though that team's currently the Dallas Stars and they won the cup. A lot of Minnesota fans were pretty salty the fact that when the Dallas Stars won a cup, they won a cup with their team.
It's same argument when we do baseball about Milwaukee and Atlanta. Hank Aaron was a part of the Milwaukee Braves. And when they do the lineage jerseys, guess what? We wear Braves jerseys sometimes. Even the Milwaukee Bears. Atlanta doesn't wear that. They wear like the Black Crackers or something else.
No, it's just interesting. The Sharks, this one's kind of okay.
All right,
This
so this is a nod to this San Diego Seals or the California Seals first. And so they had an all teal jersey. It was the most ugliest shit you had ever seen. And the only bright spot on their team was that the goalie had like a white helmet and a cage that like didn't match this shit at all. And it was just they looked like it was just too bright. Pastel like never belonged in hockey like this.
That white's gonna get so dirty in a game where it's not gonna look right after a couple.
You
I feel
never
bad.
see it.
I feel bad for the equipment manager to clean those jerseys.
Those old jerseys, definitely they would mop up
No,
the
these new white jerseys here. It used to
oh,
be
even these ones. I mean, like it took me like 20 games before I'd even get like a cut in my elbow or something. Like they're a lot more durable than you think.
no, but just like the white getting marks on it and everything like that from pucks and everything else, especially if you're a goaltender.
Goalies are probably the hardest ones, and the numbers are like when you get the side numbers and the back numbers. We also had the front number right here, which was really weird. I didn't like that. But a lot of these jerseys, because there's so much open space, this kind of looks like a starter jacket to me. And it's got that old vibey like that. But the Sharks also did 49ers night, and I thought they executed that much better because it was the shark in just red and gold. And then they
This
gave away
picture reminds me of like the San Diego Chargers
yeah,
color.
just I mean the whole time they were San Diego and then they eventually turn into Los Angeles and it just doesn't stick. But these when these guys came into the league, I don't think I have a card that's even that long. Okay, I might. So the cards were like this long. They they were this long compared to like a normal card like this. And they had special binder pages for like the big cards because they didn't fit each one and they were all super multi-colorful. It was crazy. And they had a picture for every single guy on every team. Now you don't see that. Now we have the Blue Jackets, the Generals.
Yeah, I like it. It's not too bad. It's a shame that Johnny Gaudreau went there to win and now is in contention for that first overall pick.
But let's break down the uniform. Okay, so we have the Columbus flag wrapping around the star because that's the capital of Ohio. And then they're also the biggest city, like most tech city in Ohio. You got the stars, which makes them kind of look like a general. I prefer the cannon logo because they fire
It's
a
up
cannon.
shoulders on this jersey.
Yeah, this one really, I mean, it makes them look like the blue shirts.
I
That's
like it.
essentially what they are. I think I got it right here too. Yep, the masher.
Yeah, that'd be a nice combo wombo with that hat from the Hat Club Hockey League.
And that green, I don't think it hits real bad. It would have been cool if they incorporated some other colors into these somewhere, like maybe even glow in the dark, just to liven these up. I mean, they came in the league with the Wild, and how much history do you have for a team that's only worn their state flag and cannons?
Oh, they've got like they had Panarin for a little bit there, and they made the playoff run. And then they were
And
in
now
in
he's
the
a Ranger. And now he's a Ranger.
yeah.
They've
It's
got
tough for
Line and Goudreau.
it's tough for those small market teams like that to hang on to guys, especially with demanding more and more pay.
But the best thing they have going for them is the laces in the collar. It's real nice. Has a classic look, but it's a general jacket to me. I wish they would carry more like they could have made it just like a real general's jacket. All right, Avalanche. Again, we go right back into the city flags. We have the modern Avalanche cut of the jersey. So if you look at the new Avalanche jersey and put this one side by side, you'll see the cuts are the same for all the stripes. This is the Colorado flag.
Yeah, the state flag, and it's got the It's got that foot logo on the top on the shoulders, which is pretty nice. They brought back.
95, that's the year they won the Stanley Cup.
No, I think that's the year they came back into
Oh,
the
they
league.
moved from Quebec.
Yeah, they moved from Quebec. They were the Nordiques.
Nordics. It's like, how do you
Yeah,
say
Canadian.
it? It's it's like saying north, but in French, Nordic. I was calling them the Nordiques, so it's because I was like, it's a hockey term. All right.
Pittsburgh Penguins. They brought back the RoboPen, another classic.
Now this
I
one says 92, which they did win the cup.
I like my RoboPen better because it has like the gradient in it. I wish they brought those ones back, but that's probably what Pittsburgh's gonna do next year.
You know, I keep saying that is every time I think of a good idea, my phone hears me, and then like next year they come out with all the great ideas. So it's like they're just listening to us.
Well, I just think they did these because they can sell these as like a lot of these got lettered up in in the Pittsburgh Penguins pro shop with Lemieux, Yager, and everything like that. And people are snatching them up.
And not only that, but the old lettering style that they
Yeah,
had
the
because of Snoop, and that's real good for our culture and our capology that we are talking about here.
well, it's just showing off like jerseys came really vogue because of the rap community in the late '90s, where all these rappers were wearing all these different throwbacks. They got all these kids to buy teams that weren't even in their market. And back in those days, you had to go to a catalog and order from the mail to get all these
Yeah, and
jerseys.
shipping was just terrible.
You'd see a black and white picture, you wouldn't even really know what it was until you got it.
The Stars, 93, moved down from Minnesota, become the Dallas Stars. This is their traditional logo. They never wore the Cooperalls, but they look like they should have with this jersey. It looks just like the Flyers jersey, and the Cooperall is like that one-piece suit with like the roller hockey pants. It just looks like it should have had those. This is not the style jersey they had. They had that jersey that it was like shaped like a star, similar to Colorado, but the shape and cuts of the jersey were stars. Not much to say here. Don't like Dallas. His foot was in the crease, and that's all I got.
For those of you who don't know, that he's referring to Brett Hull, his infamous goal in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final.
The oil drip.
This was another one that was a head scratcher because Edmonton's regular jersey is so iconic because whenever you think of Wayne Gretzky, you see him in that big Oilers jersey with the Oilers logo, but they had to do something different.
Do you know who their like captain was when they first came out with this?
Mm-mm.
All right, so Ryan Smith, he wore 94, and there was no orange in this jersey. It was just navy and gray, and it was pretty damn ugly. It still is. The orange kind of livens it up a little bit, but it's still a piece of crap.
It's another reason. Like Edmonton's a hard version to do it because their regular jerseys are so iconic that anything different isn't going to sit well with a lot of fans.
Well, when they wear the navy, like they wore the navy in the playoffs and they weren't losing, and then they switched one game to Royals and then got swept. And I was like, see, I told you. And they just go every other year, Navy Royal, Navy Royal, and they just keep switching it, and people just keep buying it.
It's just going to be interesting to see what happens with Draisaitl at the end of this season if he does stick with Edmonton,
You can't break that lineup. You cannot break that lineup.
Who has no cap space, and to see if Draisaitl's as good as his stats are on another team when he's not paired up with the great Hunter McDavid.
I think Draisaitl will be better without him, almost
I could
because
see being a number one on any line where he can be a leader on that line.
he's his own center. If you put him on the wing, he's not winning half those faceoffs that McJesus has to take.
Another interesting jersey, just not up to me or your part. I don't think I'd pick
And on the
this.
shoulder, it looks like it's like steel pressed, which I don't know if Edmonton has like a real big steel industry. It's like an oil refinery kind of deal. I don't know what the link ever was to that, but it's
Uh,
meh.
Northern Canada has a big oil refining industry in that area, not in Edmonton specifically, but in the province.
All right.
It's a very industrialized part of Canada.
So now we have the Jets. Who did the Jets move to originally?
They were the Thrashers, right? Weren't they Atlanta?
These are the Thrashers now. These are the current Thrashers. The OG Jets are the Coyotes. And that's why Bettman will not give up the Coyotes, is because he doesn't want to lose the original Jets. That's
Like the Jets are another like franchise that's never really had anybody of real note in their roster, so it's a head scratcher where they have these kinds of
Timu.
jerseys.
I think Timu played there.
Killer.
And then we had a Saber, Tepu Numanen played for them.
They're another like kind of team that just like Canadian team like the Canucks has never really done much. They did make the playoffs a couple years ago,
With Line, the GOAT.
and then he left.
He's only the GOAT because of his beard, not because he was a superstar for them, but I would not depend on him. And then we have the toilet seat.
I like these. They're throwback to like the '70s style uniforms. It's pretty cool.
So
Montreal just had all their jerseys redone at their 100th anniversary, so this is like another scoop for a collector to pick it up if he didn't pick it up that season where they wore all their old jerseys.
this is the Yuppie, and I probably said that wrong. It might be Yippee, but this is the Expos jersey, as I've been told. And it's the C is Canadians and the H is hockey. And then if you look at the crest right here, mine says NHL, and then theirs will say LNH. And a couple of these did slip through to the Washington jerseys. I saw the pictures floating around, and that was kind of funny because this was the only team that was supposed to have them. But I thought all of the Canadian teams should have had them.
Something a hat that would be really badass with that is that Hat Club Expos hat with the icy bottom on there and the red. That would look real sharp with this.
Yeah, the Expos logo you can't go wrong with. Canadians though,
The only player I could see you getting is maybe Carey Price or Cole Caulfield in that jersey.
it's such a shame they got Suzuki, but I don't know if he's even playing. All right, now 75 is in here. Now you know who they beat.
Yeah, us the Bruins.
Back in 1975, starting in game 3 or 4, we had what was called the Fog Game. Stanley Cup was it got too warm. It was like, what are we, 50 years ago now? Or 60? So, and the players had to skate around the ice to try to lift the fog, and then they would play the game. And so Rene Robert saved the Sabres in game 6, scoring the game tying goal and then the game winning goal in double overtime. And then it went to game 7, back to Philly, and we lost. But that was the only time that the fog had ever impacted the game so hard that nobody could even see the puck. When the puck went in the net, nobody knew. The goal horn didn't go off. Everybody was just gasping and waiting for shit to happen.
Philly's another one of those classic hockey markets where an expansion team was done right, where they were lucky enough to pull a certain level of guys and they would just beat the hell out of the league in the '70s. Like They played the biggest note of fame for a lot of Flyers fans is that they beat the Russian national team when they were on their circuit across the NHL, where they beat the two Canadian teams, the Maple Leafs and the Montreal, and they came to Boston and put up a number on the Stanley Cup champion Bruins at the time. Then they went to Philly and refused to come out after the first period, and in effect forfeited the exhibition game.
Yeah, that was like a 5-0 win right there. Now the
These are
thing about this jersey, as I said with the stars, if you look at the way this that the sleeves kind of roll down, it starts to look like a one-piece Canadian tuxedo. And that's essentially what this jersey is. And that's why a couple of the teams have the same colored pants as whatever that bottom stripe is. And that irritates the living shit out of me. Because I don't think the Sabres should have white pants. They should have blue pants. Because with that other jersey, they had black pants. And this jersey is not about pants. We're not going to get into that.
I'd just like to say it's a cool jersey. I think the Flyers are another organization where they're at a headstone where they're in a rebuild right now.
It is a classic jersey, but it was also the introduction of the Cooperalls. And the Cooperall game happened between the Flyers and the Hartford Whalers. The pants were supposed to have padding all the way down them so that they could like play without having to have all the extra pads on them. And they still had like their shin guards, but at least it had like some extra, up in the hips and that region. So, I mean, not a bad, but the Cooperall game will go down as history as the ugliest hockey game to ever exist.
The Capitals, they brought back the OV here jersey.
The OV. So originally this came out in the blue that is featured here, and it was also in the white. The black jersey at the time, and the goalie was Olaf Kolzig, and the third jersey had the Capitol building, and it was just a nice piece. I believe that's what's on the shoulder crest.
Yeah, I like the metallic copper in it that makes it pop. And it's really cool for collectors to see that the original jerseys of these go for like the original rookie OV authentics that are pretty rare nowadays. You're looking at like $600-700, and these collectors were able to scoop them up for like 180, 210 if they were lucky enough. These sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, these are classic. And I've always liked the original Cap jerseys. They're so nice, they're clean. And now they're back like on this, so it's at least they didn't have like a Canucks stage with their uniforms. They've kept it pretty real. So I respect that. They have nice jerseys. The collar on this jersey looks kind of fucked up. Oh man, I almost went a whole video without saying it. It just bothered me so much. If you look where the crest is and that little like globe thing behind it, it looks like it's like
well, these aren't actual photos, they're just mock-ups, like the jerseys online when you look online.
Yeah, I know. I just busted. Anaheim Ducks, 1993. That is their inaugural season.
Yeah, they brought back the Disney logo, like Ducks logo.
So on the stick tape, it has like two W's, Wild Wing, and that's their mascot. I'm great for those.
Cool jersey.
I'm great for the dumb facts, though.
I think this will be a real collector's item if you got this on a Trevor Zegras jersey.
He's going to be amazing if he actually finishes his career with the Ducks. I don't think he will.
They typically don't hold on to talent like I believe Corey Perry started his career with them for the longest time.
He won the cup there, like his rookie year with Jean-Sebastien Giguère, and
eventually went to the Stars for a little bit and lost the Stanley Cup. Then he went to Montreal and lost the Stanley Cup. and then he went to the Lightning and lost the Stanley Cup.
It was Tampa, then Montreal, then Dallas, and I think he's back with Tampa. Corey Perry was the monster of the Ducks. He was everything you wanted on your team when a scrum happened in front of your net.
As a Bruins fan, I'm thankful the Ducks and the fact that we got Hampus Lindholm from them in the trade. And we were able to a couple years ago dump the Davis Backus contract on them.
But I do have to take my hat off and tip my hat because Millsy played for the Ducks for a while, and he is the winningest goaltender in the NHL. So always gotta tip my hat that way. And now we have the other Sabreteeths.
I like them. John doesn't because rip off of the Sabres. I like the metallic. It's that 90s style logo.
Just a freaking sleeves, man.
Huh?
Look at those sleeves. Look at my sleeves, and tell me.
Yeah, it's just the other way around.
Tell me everything that's wrong with that jersey isn't just a copy. It's like copy my homework, but change it up a little bit.
I like it just because the artist work on the front of it. I could see these being pretty popular with collectors in general. Although there's not really anybody I'd put on Nashville on the back of this currently on their roster.
Not a current player, but there's only one player that I would put on there, and that's Rene.
Yeah, Pekka Rinne, Hall of Fame goaltender. Maybe PK Subban would be another cool one to get this customized into. Because Subban brought them to a Stanley Cup.
They didn't win.
They lost, but he brought them to they were able to make it to a Stanley Cup. There's something
that was because of Rene, not because of him. No way. I would disagree with that all day long. And here, one of my first jokes of the video, because we're not really laughing here. Tell me how this animal can close its mouth without stabbing itself in the throat. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just try and tell me how it can close its mouth. I don't know how that animal could survive.
Jersey would be that Clint there with the saber-toothed tiger on it.
How is this thing going to survive? That's why they're extinct. This is why this animal does not exist.
It's certainly it's an interesting market for them to be in Nashville. I don't think they have many prehistoric cats roaming around there.
Just think, all right? Think of all the sports leagues, and only college has like Mustangs and Mustangs. Today we'll have the Battle of Mustangs.
I would have
sports
great some of the music aspects of Nashville and their reverse retros. It would be kind of cool.
Well, then they'd just be the blues. No, they'd be the countries or something. I don't know.
Nashville Sound, like the former minor league team.
The what?
Wasn't there a MILB team there called the Nashville Sounds?
The Sounds are still existing there. They are the Brewers AAA. And normally you see the 3 stars on a guitar pick on their. That would have been a way better front crest because it really encapsulates their home environment. And
that's what these are supposed to do. They're supposed to incorporate the original market and do something a little bit different. It's a lot like what Nike was doing with basketball with the City Edition jerseys.
But this doesn't say City State.
No, they just.
This is just a crappy redo.
Yeah, just bring back an old jersey to try to.
And that's where it should have stayed. Like, look at the teal lines. Look at the orange in there. None of those colors should be in there. Those aren't. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this one. Hey! Look at this one. All right, this one I got.
You got Cousins, correct?
Yep.
Pretty cool. They brought these back, and then they've also brought back their black alternates with this logo. The cool thing is they did modify the buffalo a little bit on the forehead.
Oh, yeah, it's just the horn. The horn is backwards.
But it's still pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm not the biggest fan of all white, but you could have done this in the black. I'd love to see them next year. They're probably going to release this in a blue.
and then there was that picture where it looked like a buffalo head, but this one doesn't really look like it has that.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, you were mind blown by the original jersey has the outline of the buffalo,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Well, it's on the dark jersey. I don't know if it's on the white ones because you can't really get it without the shoulders colored.
Yeah, it's another cool one.
Don't want to do that again. But yeah, I mean, a lot of good players. Future's looking good. I like the new crest as well as the
Like I said, you guys are a goaltender away from being a pretty good playoff team. And the fact is that you guys are still one of the youngest teams in the league, so you have plenty of room to grow.
see there's a lot of detail in the crest there. You get that on our normal jerseys. So if you buy a jersey, that's what it comes with. That kind of crest. It's real 3D, looks amazing. Don't have to be a fan, just gotta like a player, you know.
Calgary, I like these. These are different.
These were a train wreck when they first came out too.
It's I as a jersey collector, I like the niche and weird, and it's these. Some of these are kind of cool because they brought back a lot of niche and weird. Like no one in their right mind would have in the early 2000s brought back the Pooh Bear after they got rid of it. It was kind of a
Okay,
little bit.
a couple quick questions. All right, you see just underneath the logo, it's got that like seam there. It's done so seamlessly, but what do you think of that side stripe?
They look better with the pants, I would say, because it goes to the side of the pants.
It's not supposed to. They actually have sideways stripes the same way as the stripe on the jersey down the pants. So the same way the sleeves are, that's the way the pants look. It's not a great look overall. This one crash and burn. I think they only wore it for 2 years. But I like it when the C is red because that means like fire hotter, you know. I don't know. Whenever they do red jerseys, they explode. And I also like that horse one that they did last year.
Yeah, last year they brought Blasty, which is like another iconic logo in their history.
That would have been the Kiprasov. That was one of the best playoffs. I mean, I've
It
ever
was
watched.
it's simply nice because Calgary didn't go with something safe. They went with something new. Unlike the Leafs, who always put out like the same crest, the same style of jersey, and other teams, it's refreshing just to see something different.
They called it the Red Sea. I will never forget that. There was not another jersey color in that building. I don't know if you would have been able to get a ticket if you were not wearing a C jersey. It was unbelievable. The Kings.
Yeah, nice Lakers colorway. I can see a lot of these getting snatched up and be turned to have Kobe Bryant 24, Kobe Bryant number 8 put on the back.
This was big in the rap game too. This
Yeah,
one.
it was a big like logo.
It's for hip hop culture and everything, this jersey was big for it.
I forget which NHL game it was, but they have Snoop Dogg as a commentator.
The All-Star game.
It's like no, the video game when you're playing the video game, it's like yeah, Snoop Diggity Dogg's coming into the booth, and you could tell he was getting paid to do it. Like it's so.
It's terrible. I'll have to link that video below. It's Snoop Dogg explaining what the terms are of hockey. He's like, what does sauce mean? He's like, sauce.
That's pretty funny. It's a cool jersey. The Kings are another team with an incredible offense. They just have the turnstile of a goaltender this year. But
I mean,
they're still
been doing it for 14 seasons.
You always take the over in all the Kings games.
You know, right? Oh, meh.
This is on John and me disagree on also. It's purely because local town next to mine, Gloucester Fishermen use this logo, so it has a cool history to me.
Well, so TJ's a fisherman, and that's cool. But I call this logo the crest, as in the toothbrush,
Oh, I
because
see it now.
I see him holding a giant toothbrush.
Still
Although it is,
cool. It's a real popular jersey in the community. I know the older ones go for a lot of money.
it it just seemed lazy. Like the stripe at the bottom could have also been a wave.
It's just jersey collectors are weird like that. A lot of guys collect the obscure and weird.
I hoped for more if this was coming back because the other one, it was like obnoxious. It had tons of colors. This is like the reserve version of it. So
Well,
if
like I said, they're probably testing the waters to see if it got the response they thought, and these sold out on a few sites. So I think they'll next year they'll probably bring in something similar again.
like how the Lightning did, and we'll get there. The Blues,
This one's kind of cool. It's
1966.
completely different from a lot of their older.
That's the year they came into the league. Do you know what they did that year?
Mm-mm.
They went straight to the Stanley Cup Finals and lost. That's what they did. Yay, Blues. Keeping it real.
They eventually won the Stanley. They lost a Stanley Cup to Boston, and then in the '70s, and then they went back recently, and George Bennington stood
Jordan,
on his and won them a Stanley Cup that year, and now he's
you know who else helped them? Millsy.
it's just interesting to see. It's pretty interesting to see how far the Blues have fallen from that scrappy team to.
So this jersey has more of like the 1920s vibes. How teams like you remember last year's Minnesota again, where it said MLPS, Minnesota Hockey Club. This is more of that kind of style. Being yellow, that's something you don't really see for the Blues, but I really like the saxophone jersey personally. Like the note is already kind of in a saxophone kind of manner.
It would have been cool if they made the note on the thing like a hockey puck, more of like.
Well, that's what it's supposed to look like, but can we just for one time, put these logos on the sleeves, make them big, do something. Like,
You
and
like
I know
those.
we're getting there. Like every jersey at some point is going to be like the Fisherman or the Lightning Storm jersey. Like we're gonna get
Well,
there.
it's just all the corporate stuff they have to go through for approval. So I'm sure that original idea is put forth, and then it gets cut and changed, cut and changed, cut and changed, and everything like that. These are pretty cool. They're based on the KC Scout jerseys.
Well, let's unabbreviate the Kansas City Scouts, who now have a junior hockey team playing in downtown KC. Shout out to J38, who's gonna hopefully see this far into it. So the KC Scouts, not a rich history. These are not good colors for the Devils. That yellow does not belong there.
I like it just because it's different from the red and black they always wear.
I do like that shoulder cut though.
I think they look pretty sweet on the ice.
That's probably the only thing is the shoulder cut and the nice clean outline on the emblem. Love it. But other than that, I mean, they're still the Devils.
Devils, another young team that's finally showing roots of being competitive. Um, they invested heavily this year in getting some veteran talent to back up a lot of their younger guys, like Dougie Hamilton.
Well, they've got Jack Hughes, so I I love watching all the Hughes guys. They're all amazing.
Another big thing with the Devils is from my hometown, they have Miles Wood, who was playing with them. He's injured. He's kind of funky because he's got the two front teeth missing right now.
My two front teeth.
He got that classic hockey player look.
And then we have the Yotes, which this is supposed to be their desert jersey.
That's another change my homework and
Yeah, this one didn't love it.
freaking change it. Last year they did it in the purple and black. And this year they just did it in the tan.
The purple is so sexy.
They gotta move out of Arizona's gotta move as an organization. It's not working.
There's only so many times you can force something on people before it's just like, you know.
There's no reason an NHL team should play an arena that only holds 5,000 fans.
Yeah, like we have the Harbor Center, and the college hockey games sell out better than the Yotes do.
And the fact that they don't even have a home arena right now, they're playing an ASU's arena.
Yeah.
And they still have yet to secure funding on building a new stadium in Arizona. I see them moving in their near future.
Oh man. I don't think Texas. I think it's gonna be like a North Dakota or a Utah. It's gonna be like a West. You can't move them to the Eastern Conference because once you put them past Texas and Detroit, like that middle line, you create an imbalance, which is the time zone difference. And that's why Detroit got switched from the Western to the Eastern, because they were the only team that had to play in all four time zones because of how popular they were. And they would always get the nationally televised game every Saturday, every Sunday. They'd play all these back-to-backs, and they made the playoffs for like 28 years in a row. We're almost there.
Yeah. Lightning brought these back. They're pretty cool. I love the numbers on these too. They're like kiss cut. This is gonna be, if you're a collector and you want this, you gotta get it now, and you gotta get it customized now, because if you wait a couple of years, they're not gonna have the twill to make the numbers.
Yeah, so stop Stammer time. He just played his 1,000th game, or got his 500th goal, something like that. 4 or 500. He is, I mean, he's basically an Iron Man. He's a legendary captain. I hope the next captain of the Rangers makes his way down to Tampa and they keep winning. But I love this jersey. The first time it came out, I just don't love the way the rain looks. I wish it was a little more like flashy. But
yeah, it almost looks like the jersey's scuffed up, especially in person, seeing them when the Bruins played.
with the numbers, it looks way better.
Yeah, the numbers are the real winner on this. And it's like I said, if you're gonna get this jersey, you get it now. Because like customization is gonna be hard in a few years. Because the way they're cut. Yeah, Detroit, another safe. They brought that vintage. It's inspired by like the 1920s uniforms. They won.
It says 91. This one, this is like a 1919er. This is pitiful. This is the Chicago jersey that I think is in the same realm. Detroit's legendary, and they should not be wearing like even the collar. Like the collar should have been black.
It's another case like Edmonton where the spoked wheel is so iconic it's hard to go away from anything other than that.
Yeah, it just I don't know. Well, yeah, the winged wheel. So, just the Motor City did not deserve this one. That's like the Jersey.
Yeah, it looks like someone did.
Oh, look at that!
I got a joke for you here. It's like they ran it over. That's what they
like ran that jersey over, and they were like, "Hey."
The Blackhawks were like, "We see Detroit. We're just gonna copy their homework and change it here."
At least the numbers or the numbers, the letters are bold. Like,
yeah, they have like a little bit of iconic there. They're highlighted in that red.
That's
either way, yeah, either of these two jerseys being real popular.
Look how long it just looks like. It
Yeah, it
looks
doesn't
like it's a
modern
dress.
cut. It doesn't have like that modern cut to it because the vertical lines, the horizontal lines kind of pull your eye away. Where it doesn't have
Yeah.
like that clean cut, like that pressed look.
You know, some teams got to learn from the horizontal line problem. I think this is our last one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
interesting, different designs. It's been pretty cool to see.
so let's do a quick keepers, weepers, and sleepers. So, who you keeping?
Keeping probably the Lightning, the Sabres, and the Bruins.
The Lightning, the Sabres, and just show your jersey.
The Bruins, like the Pooh Bear.
All right, I'm keeping the Sabres as well. Uh, wait, you forgot Florida.
Wait, I thought I had it in there. Florida was another interesting one where they put like the whole island logo.
Yeah, I'm at 32 of 32, bud.
Oh, maybe it was because of the title screen.
Oh yeah.
Oops, that's all right though.
Whoopsie
Like
daisy. Well, we forgot Florida. We'll do that in another episode. We covered the majority. My
Vegas, I would say, in my opinion too. I like that Vegas has that neon sign look. That's
my
pretty cool.
weeper is gonna be the Leafs because F the Leafs and Leafs suck and losers since '67. Um,
I'd say my weeper, as far as it goes, is probably the Blackhawks and
Blackhawks and the Red Wings are definitely my weepers too.
they're not like they're just like they went something different, but it doesn't work at all.
And my sleeper is gonna be Vegas. And I like the Robo Pen, but it just can't be that. I think
My
this,
sleeper is gonna be Montreal, just
yeah,
because anything powder blue as a jersey collector, I love. Like I have the Cardinals powder blue jersey, I have the Oilers powder blue.
you
It's
can't go
just a
wrong
really,
with powder blue. No, you absolutely
really
can.
color, and it
And
can be wrong with an original six team.
I'm gonna have to link the Cooper All game preview because it just looks like a disaster. When the players came out in those, I was like screaming on the insides.
Well, the jerseys weren't implemented the best. I know Boston came out one game wearing them, and the other team had something similar color wise, so they had to change out of their jerseys and warm ups.
Well,
There was a miscommunication.
the putting socks and jerseys on is a lot easier now than it used to be. We used to have like snaps and velcros, and now it's just like you can almost like tape them on, they just stick to you. Especially with these new materials, they're like you don't have to do anything. They're so light.
Yeah, they're a lot different than your granddad's, where they were all wool.
Not your granddaddy's hockey equipment. I'm gonna see if I can pull up that Florida Panthers one.
Yeah, it was a cool one. The Panthers was a cool one. Like I said, they're another organization that's at a crossroads where they were at a crossroads where they sold out, and then they traded away their franchise guy and a couple other guys.
They still got Ekblad.
Yeah, but like, and the biggest thing was them trading their first overall pick for this next season because it's looking to be a high pick, and they only got a half a season of Sharon from Montreal. They got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, I'm gonna have to brush up on well, you're gonna have to brush up on the names because I can't keep up with your French Boston. That's kind of like my Polish Canadian.
Yeah, it's these were pretty cool. I'd love to see what's gonna happen next year with a lot of teams and everything like that. It's kind of cool to bring a lot of these old logos back and some new interesting ideas into the NHL sphere. It's gonna be interesting if the new producer, whatever hockey jerseys are next year for NHL, whether they keep this or they change the concept a little bit.
Yeah, there's some good concepts out there. I started screenshotting some that I liked. There was some Nikes, some Under Armours, and even if we went back to Reebok Edge, let's say, there's definitely some good ones. And we will keep you updated. Obviously, our thoughts were on the jerseys, not on, oh, this cap goes with this jersey. I wear this cap because Okpoza wears it with his I'm wearing my Sabres under, so I have like my crest on there, so you can see that.
I was wearing my Bruins cap. Like this isn't even the correct logo to wear with this. It's because they don't have the Pooh Bear caps and fitteds. Like pretty rare. And
But
this
I'm
I
never gonna tell somebody to wear like this clink hat with the Wild jersey because it doesn't match. You know, I'm never gonna take you to Diallo 411 or some crap and tell you that this matches because it clearly doesn't. This is a T-Rex with short arms and a baseball bat. That doesn't match. So if you watch another reverse retro video out there, just know your crap doesn't match. Okay.
just wanted to say pretty cool reviewing all these jerseys. I did like. I wish I included in these slides the Winter Classic jerseys, but
There will definitely be an outdoor game preview coming up because we got the
stadium series
caps.
coming up, so we can do a. I would love to do a another video where I've been mulling about is doing. We're gonna go through all the history, like the stadium series and like reverse retro, or not reverse retros. Winter Classic jersey would be kind of a cool concept to go through.
And if you learn something, let us know below. And as always, I'm Spidey. He's North Shore Fitteds. So peace, love, and caps. Where's my button? Oh, there we go.